Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, it's not looking real good for Alaska, is it? With the Canada ban and no test cruises going on so far. But if you notice, the cruise lines haven't canceled cruises yet because they're in negotiations with both the United States governments and Canadian governments, and they're trying to work out some compromises. So let's go over a couple of things that they're trying to negotiate. So first off, we all know it's the Passenger Service Act, or better known as the Jones Act, for all shipping. That all ships not registered as a U.S. ship has to have at least one foreign port. It can't go from United States to the United States in a closed loop. It can go United States, United States, United States, Canada, United States, but it has to have one foreign port. And Canada just said, we're not accepting any cruise ships until, end of February 2022. And everybody, even people here, like, it's not just Alaska that's upset at that. It's everywhere. All of the Maritimes, all of Vancouver, all the tourism industry, all the travel agents, everybody is totally upset with this choice, saying that's ridiculous. It's an absolutely ridiculous timeline, because they're basically telling everybody in the travel industry, in the cruising industry, in the tourism industry in Vancouver, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Quebec, Nova Scotia, all those places, that your jobs and your livelihoods and your businesses, we don't care about for another year. We just don't care, because we're not even going to consider, even if things are, we're just going to say you can't have a business for another year. It's ridiculous. They could have said June. They could have said July. They had to throw it for 13 months. Actually announced it for 13 months, which is absolutely ridiculous. So the cruise lines right now are in huge negotiations. And I've talked to some representatives from a couple different cruise lines now, and some of the alternatives are, they are searching for, can we get an amendment to the Jones Act to allow us just temporarily, not having to stop in a foreign port for just, and you can make it specific for certain ships. You don't even have to say it's for everybody. Just say, okay, Royal Caribbean, it's going to be these 2 ships. Princess Cruise Lines, it's going to be these 3 ships. Something. Just to get them through this season, and next season they'll worry about next season. And you can put a deadline on it, you can put a timeline on it. Trouble is, when the government came into office recently, one of the first things that they came out with, again, is like saying how important the Jones Act is and the Passenger Service Act is for American jobs and economy. So whether or not they're willing to make an exception for that is still up in the air, no matter who's fighting and who's, pushing for that. So we'll have to wait and see where that goes. Another thing they're asking and finding out is, will Canada, right now they say you cannot come in with cruise ships into Canadian waters. Not to our ports. You can't come into our waters even, right? So they are looking now at saying, look, if we do not let anybody off our ship, can we come to your port and then leave? Dock at your port, that's our stay. We'll count it like a sea day. Maybe you guys want to set up like just some shops or something down by the dock, and people have to stay in this enclosed area and can't get out. Maybe you want to do that for some local business, local tourism, whatever. Or just let us dock and then leave. And this would satisfy the Passenger Service Act, and it would allow them to sail from, Seattle, Los Angeles, cruise ports along that line. However, that still remains to see if Canada is willing to do that, because that would also say that, okay, well, now we're going to help the cruising industry in Seattle, and we're going to help the cruising industry, you know, over on the west coast of the United States. But what is our tourism cruising industry going to say to that? You know, what is Vancouver going to say and Victoria going to say if they, well, they're coming in, but we're getting a docking fee and that's it. We don't have any jobs. We don't have anything. We're not gaining any real stuff from it. So it's very, very iffy on whether or not the Canadian government will even allow, it's kind of like a drive-by, right? Just let me park, let me leave, and then we can continue on to Alaska. At least we can try and salvage some of the season for the Alaskan businesses and the Alaskan cruise line, and hopefully they're still around another year, because to tell a town like Skagway that has 95% of its income from the cruise ships, 95% of the entire town's income is from cruise lines and cruise ships, and to tell them they're going to go a second year without any money, you know, we got to hope something can happen. And that's why a lot of people are really upset with Canada's 13-month extension. Well, 12-month extension, but they announced it 13 months out. It just seems very arbitrary. Again, it doesn't seem like it's based on facts. It's not based on science. It's not based on anything other than, you know what? We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with it. We don't know what to do. We are having all kinds of trouble here in our country with our vaccines and getting people immunized, and now we have the variants, and we don't want to deal with anything else other than this. In fact, if we could shut down the whole country and nobody can get anywhere, we would prefer that. And in fact, that's what they're looking at right now. They're looking at interprovincial ban travel. They're looking at complete flight travels banning. They're putting people in isolation hotels now when they come into the country. They're basically saying, Canada, do not travel anywhere and nobody come here. And it looks like that's going on for quite some time to come. So I know they're in negotiations. I expect that we will hear something within 2 weeks now. So by the end of this month, we're going to hear more and more cruises to Alaska either canceled or they've worked out a negotiation tactic with somebody, either Canada or the US government, but nothing works fast, nothing works quick. You know, an amendment to the Jones Act isn't going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take a long time to get passed and approved. Canada negotiations, basically any government negotiations isn't lightning quick. It's going to go slow. So that's where we stand right now. They are working on it. That's why they haven't canceled cruises. Although if you actually are sailing out of Canada, like Vancouver, the odds are, as they say in the movie, the odds are not in your favor, and they're dropping by the day. But if you're in Seattle and LA, or you know, you have at least some hope that something can be worked out. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.